Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing something different. There's actually this deal that came on the market, it says today, I think it was actually yesterday. Yeah, it came on the market yesterday. It's a 2-bedroom terraced house. That's it there. A little bit dated, needs quite a lot of work. We are not in the greatest position to be buying right now, but the last place we've done is very similar to this. So we already know the place really well. We know exactly what's needed, the costs that are involved, and there might be some savings that can be made because we've messed up a few things, done it a bit too expensive last time. So we can potentially do it better with this one. So I'm going to analyze this deal, and yeah, I'll take you guys on a journey of my analysis. I hope you find it interesting and I hope you enjoy. So we've got the home report right here. So let's have a look at that first. And as I've talked about before, let's see where we are. So I'm just going to pick out the key things. 74 square meters. So it's about 50 years old. The other stuff doesn't matter too much really. Let's look at the condition here. So no structural movement, a bit of moisture, no obvious significant decay, but yeah, there's just a bit of moisture that can be dealt with. Roof, so roof tiling is weathered or aging. Life expectancy will depend, so roofing contractor maybe need to check, so you need to check the roof to see if any repairs are going to be needed there. And the water tank is made of asbestos cement. Okay, should not be disturbed, or if it is disturbed, needs to be specialist. Some damp stain was noted within the roof space that appeared to be dry. That was not tested. That's not too much of an issue. Skylights in this type of roof prone to leakage. So there's a skylight. So that's, yeah, skylight is a bit crap. It might just have to be removed because over years, a skylight is basically a window in the roof, and usually it's nothing good. So nothing in there, nothing in the main walls. Older style double glazing unit windows probably need to be replaced. That's all good. Outside areas, the fencing needs a bit of a repair. A tree within distance that can impact the property, so that can be an issue. So I'm going to go and see this property next week, so I'm just making some notes to see what there is, and hopefully that can give you an idea of how to do your own viewings in the future. Or you might already be an expert and you're just doing it to have a little bit of a nosy at how I do it, and that's also fine. Any advice is appreciated. A wet wall panel. I mean, the bathroom is in a state, so that's fine. It needs to be replaced anyway. Plaster finish. Yeah, they're being very polite, but what they're saying is that some areas are just so aged and crap that they need to be replaced. A bit of uneven floor. That's completely fine. No internal doors to the kitchen and lower bedroom. That's good because usually you have to take the doors off, get them destroyed and taken away. So a couple of no doors is good because it just means less rubbish to be taken away. A section of loose or damaged artex was noted within the ceiling void above the stairs, and they should be assessed by an asbestos removal contractor because sometimes artex contains asbestos fibers. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's quite a normal thing with Artex, so that's just something we'll need to keep an eye out on. Internal decoration require input renewal. Considering my unit is fairly modern, the electrical system retains dated features such as socket with no isolator switches and a limited number of sockets. Should be inspected. So electricity we need to inspect for the earth wire, because previously there was no earth wire with the property and it needed to be rewired, so we don't want that again if possible. So there's cold water tank, yeah, they already mentioned that. Heating and hot water. The boiler will need to be changed soon. We've done a few of the boilers, so it's not too much of an issue. There's plenty of decent boilers now. We just need to take it into the numbers. Okay, that's all good. We've assessed that. I just quickly read the key points there, really. I mean, the previous home report where we needed to rewire the property, the electricity was like a 1 or a 2, so they haven't mentioned anything. So this is not everything. This is just an idea to help you. It's £80,000 in terms of the value, and for insurance purposes 210. I always look at this and I think this split is really good. So if you think it's going to cost 210 to rebuild it going forward, I think the price is going to go towards that 210. That's fine. Mortgage valuation is all the same. Remember, in here you need to see if it's okay for mortgage. It should say it here. This property is suitable for mortgage purposes. Great, perfect. We have EPC C, actually quite a good C. That's very unusual. The last one we did was an E, probably because of electric heating. But EPC C, that's a big thing. It's already very, very positive, I would say. Yeah, not much needs to be done there. It means it's already warm and nice as a flat. Alright, what else? Question there. They want it for 8.5 years. If they want it for 8.5 years, you can sometimes check in here. So there we go. In 2017, they bought it for 50k. So 8.5 years ago, they bought it for 50k. Now they're selling it for 80 in really crap condition. So you can see that you can basically buy a property in really shitty condition and it will go up in value significantly. Even though 2007 was 70,000, so I'm not sure if that 50k is, yeah, I don't know why that is, to be honest, because this is, yeah, quite unusual. But anyways, we know that they got it for 50k anyway. Council tax B, that's fantastic for a semi-detached house. You know, it's a relatively low amount and you're going to get a decent sized house. You know, 74 square meters is good. Some semi-detached houses are around that sort of area, so that's very decent. No conservation area, no other major issues. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we've had a look through it. We've seen all the key things. Let's have a look at the photos. What do we see from the photos? So this bit of fence is probably damaged. We can change that easily. That's not a problem. And here there's a few things, like in here the gutters might need cleaning, etc., but no big deal really. So same layout, we've got the living room upstairs. So ideally we would change this window. A lot of this Artex stuff or whatever this crap is, it's a nightmare to deal with, a real nightmare to remove. So yeah, that's going to be quite a bit of work. The plasters hate it and they will charge more for it. And I think the roof is the ceiling is the same, so that's not very good. Here looks quite positive. This can be, so we've destroyed this before and put like a separate wardrobe in there, so that can be destroyed also. That can be kept with a new door, new floors. Radiator actually looks not too bad, but again, can be replaced without too many issues. We have the kitchen here, that's where you enter the flat. Probably need a new boiler, and we've done a bigger kitchen going all the way around in the previous flat, so we spent a lot more money there with also a little table there, etc. Realistically, we could stick to the same sort of layout. You know, you're looking at 3 double cupboards on the wall and just a couple of cupboards there, and then the sink and the oven. We actually have an oven in the hob. We actually have the hob, we have the oven, we have a lot of stuff for the kitchen now. The only issue I see here is that it is there is no extractor fan. I don't like that really, and there's already a hole in there for the boiler. Ideally you'd have an extractor fan taking all the air outside. But in here we'll probably just gonna have to put one of the ones that recirculates the air. So not horrible, but yeah, not ideal either. That can all be plaster, new window, new door. I still don't like those doors. I mean, you just smash that glass and you're straight in, and a decent door would have been better. The flooring must have been replaced at some point, but I mean, the skirting needs changed, flooring needs changed. Yeah, it's full refurb regardless. The bedroom, there's quite a bit of moisture there, so the wallpaper all needs to be lifted, and we just need to check what the where that moisture is from. Just make sure there's no issues there, and then that can be replastered. Ceiling would have to come off, I would say, and then we'd put new ceiling, new plasterboards in for the ceiling. Yeah, that will just get destroyed. That's fine. That's a downstairs bedroom. That's a living room. We've had a similar sort of thing. A bit weird how they've done it with a door in here, and then this bit comes out like that. Then there could be improvements to be made there, or we could just remove this and just make this into a bit of a wall and just make it all the same but more modern. So that could be dealt with. Bathroom, apart from somebody kicking it in from their anger, seems decent, but it's probably a super old bathroom. You can see some of the crap in here. Probably a super old bathroom that they've just walled over the top of a million layers of tiles. So probably a lot of destroying of material that will have to go on here, and a new bathroom can be put in. Okay, and here, decent fence at the back, actually a decent garden, because the one we've got is a bit of a hill, so it's a useless garden. Okay, that's it. So we've seen all the pictures. Now let's see, let's do some analysis. So purchase price, I think 78,000, so just under the home report. Then we'll be paying the additional dwelling supplement, which is 8%. So as that. Legal, I always allow 1,500 for legal. And then I would say if you were to buy it cash, you basically need this, plus your tax, plus your legal, you need that much. If you were to get the mortgage, money needed is that times by 0.25, so the deposit plus your ADS plus your legal. This is what you need for a mortgage purchase. So not too bad, but yeah, still a significant amount of money. In terms of the refurb, rewire would likely be needed at 4,000. You would be windows and doors. Last one we did was just under 3 plus the 2 doors. You're looking at about 4, probably 4,000 as well, maybe 3,800 with a slight discount. So that's 2 big ones straight away. Kitchen, you'll be looking at, I would say maybe 4,000. Bathroom, to be honest, we go for quite nice bathrooms, probably 4,000 as well, all in. So let's just do a running total here of how much we're expecting to spend. Oh, do here. Okay, that's already 15. Want to get the boiler sorted. That's about 2.8. You're gonna get the plastering done. That's gonna be plastering and ceilings. Such a large area like that, you'll be looking at potentially 6k. Then you're gonna get the doors changed. For the doors, not too bad, about £150 per door. I think there's 7 or 8 of them, so let's just say 150 times 8. Then you've got the skirting boards. You might be 400 even 500 quid, skirting and facings. So that's the window. There's going to be some plumbing work that will need to be done. I would allow maybe plumbing and radiators. I would allow 1,000 for that. Then in the end, you're going to put the floors. Probably looking at maybe 3,000. It was about $2,000 for the last flat, but some floors were already done, so I would allow 3,000 for that one. What else? That's pretty much obviously painting. Even if we do it ourselves, all the paint and messing around and stuff, I just put 500 quid. If we hire somebody, that would be a lot more expensive. So we've got the doors, the skirting boards, the floors, everything plus plastered and painted. All the new plasterboards put in before plastering. Destroyal is gonna cost a lot of money, but we're gonna hire somebody for the destroying. The guy charges. You're probably going to be $1,000 for destroying, because once you get through all of the tiles and stuff, bag it all up, it's going to be a lot, and then I'm going to have to take it away in a few different trips. So that's something that is almost a non-negotiable. There might be some work in the garden with the doors already mentioned. I think those are the key things. You'll then need the compliance, the checks and stuff. Maybe allow 150 quid for that check, then another 250, maybe 400 quid just for the alarms and stuff. I think with the rewire we're going to get a lot of them anyway, but I would allow that just in case. So yeah, however you look at it, you'll be looking at about 32 grand for the refurb. There might be even a bit more on top of that. So let's have a look at it there. Purchase price again. We can play around with that one. Refurb. Right, so that just needs to be up to 32. Refurb is that much. Total is that plus that. Obviously the ADS is on the purchase price. You don't pay ADS in refurb. And then legal 1,500. So again, the total is this plus that plus that. So about 117.9k. We're not looking to sell it. However, I would say then it gets refinanced at 135. $135,000. Refinance mortgage 75% of that. So 101,250. So money left in would be all this that you've spent minus your refinance. We're looking at 16k that left in. It's not a small amount of money, but it's quite reasonable, because after you've done all this work, what you'll have is a very high quality asset with all new plumbing, new everything pretty much. Actually in here I forgot, I should have allowed some money for the roof checks, probably $1,000 for fixing a few roof tiles and stuff. So 233. So yeah, it's actually slightly more. So you'll leave 17,690 in. Going to have quite a big refurbishment bill. You're going to have a high quality asset. you're going to be able to rent it for 1,000 to 1,100 easily per calendar month. We rented that one for 1,100. Probably even could have gotten more because of how great the refurb was and how amazing the place was. It was just by far the best place in the whole area. Maybe this will be the second one if we get it all done. Short-term let, you can get the license. It's got the front entrance, back entrance. The walls are quite well soundproofed. The neighbours shouldn't complain too much. So a short-term let can be very lucrative, and even in that area, it's close to a big shopping centre, close to transport links. You can get to the centre, potentially get maybe 2,000, 2 to 3k per month, but obviously a lot more work. And even at the £1,000 a month, you know, taking a slightly lower return, you have put in before you refinance, you've put in 101,000. You're going to be getting 12 grand a year, so that's a very decent yield. What is it as in terms of the yield that you'll get? So this is what you've put in, and then 12k is what you'll get. So you're looking at still 10.1% yield, so not too bad at all. And in terms of the money left in, you'll obviously need to have a think about your mortgage and stuff. But yeah, it's not a bad deal. For us, the difficulty is with a refinance, you're going to need a bridging or some sort of loan to cover yourself for 118.94 grand. So a lot of money to borrow. Even if some of it we've got saved up, you need quite a lot more to borrow. The refurb will probably take 6 months for us because it's a bit of a slow process with the people that we've got, but they are really good people. And yeah, it's a lot of interest to be paying. So I'm not sure about that one. It makes me a little bit nervous, but that's all the numbers. That's a bit of a messy, but that's roughly how I do my analysis. I hope you've enjoyed it. If I do end up going crazy and being like, okay, I'm just going to do it, I will let you know. And looking forward to the next video. Thanks, guys.